Good morning, this is Don and Sally with Maranatha Adventures. What we're going to be talking about today first is that why we deleted the first video that we done on this topic of the gear that we use, such as kitchen gear. And the reason why was we had microphone or audio issues. 3 different times with the same microphone, wireless microphones we used, we've had issues with it, whether the sound did not come through or the sound or the signal was broken, and so it's almost sound like a demonic sound. But anyways, we did away with those and we ordered all new microphones, and we're going through a manufacturer called Overland. So they should be here Thursday or Friday. Right now we're using our secondary or our backup mics. They're a no brand mic, and they seem to be working fine right now. But we always want something that's going to have a backup, in case something goes wrong. But that's one of the reasons why we deleted the video.
Yeah, and I just wanted to let everybody know that I am very camera shy. So you will not be hearing me speak much during the videos. I feel comfortable when we're doing our fireside chats, when we're out camping, conversations between myself and my husband. So Don has just a true natural gift for speaking to the public, whether it's directly or on a camera. He is filled in many times for pastors to do the sermons, and he spoke several times at revivals, so he's just a natural. So I think it's best that for the channel that Don does most of the talking, especially for the reviews.
Also, I want to let you all know our farm sits on a 2-lane highway going from the county that we live in into Missouri. So it's a good thoroughfare that runs from Oregon into Fulton, Sharp, Independence County in the state of Arkansas, all the way down towards Bald Knob. It's just a 2-lane highway. So you're going to hear traffic in the background. We apologize for that. But anyways, getting back to the video, what it's all about. The gear that we use is that it's all close to being 12 years old. Most of it is. Sally and I have been overlanding for well over 11 and a half years. February will make it 12 years of 2026. But we're still new to YouTube, so we're going through all that. So, anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the gear that we have and why we use the gear and why we continuously use the gear. We're going to start off with our dry goods box, and it's from a Plano packer. And one of the things I've done is that Plano never made these with seals on the lid. I ended up putting a seal inside in the lid so it seals tight. And we keep all of our dry goods in there, such as salt, pepper, our seasonings and barbecue rubs, tins and pans and stuff like that, where Sally makes casseroles and
Meatloaf pans.
Meatloaf pans, yeah, exactly. Keep our oils, paper towels, heck, even our smash burger press, towels. One of my favorite, and I think that camping, you can't go camping without Solo cups. And oil, and my favorite hot sauce, which is Texas Pete's. And like I said, barbecue rubs. This one here is my Texas blend I came up with. I have 9 actual barbecue rubs and seasonings that we sell on our Facebook page on Maranatha Adventures. They're only available in 16-ounce shakers. And all the Seasonings, when the orders are placed, are made fresh. That means, I mix them up. I label the containers. I fill the containers. And I also seal them. And then we ship them off. And they run about $10.99 for that. But you can find that. There's 9 different varieties, ranging from what I just showed, the Texas blend, which is fantastic on brisket, tri-tips, pot roast. Heck, we even use it on fried potatoes. So, and then the Jazz barbecue rub, which is the label on the picture on the label is my wife's father, my father-in-law. He was a jazz musician. But anyways, get into that part of the video. We keep a lot of that in the hamburger buns and stuff like that. Hot dogs. I like hot dogs, and I like eating hot dogs during lunch and stuff like that. Or bread, or when Sally makes her chicken salad sandwiches. The next situation that I'm going to talk about is propane, powering our stoves and stuff like that. If we are base camping for a period of time, what I'll do is, and I'm talking during fair weather months, I'll pull the 5-pound propane bottle off the camper, and I'll set it up on the ground with an extension hose and hook it up to Sally's stove, and then we cook off that. If we're running BDRs, backcountry discovery routes, or Trans-America Trail, another section of that, then we go to 1-pound bottles. And there's a reason for that. And in the 1-pound bottles, when you're behind the windshield all day traveling, most of y'all know that who runs that run BDRs and Trans-America Trail routes, it can be pretty tiring because you're behind the wheel constantly. And in some cases, you don't find out until when you're actually on those routes where you have to find detours and then reroute yourself and then pick up the trail or the route down the line beyond that rerouting that you've done, or that obstacle or closure that happens. But we use the green bottle 1-pound bottles, and a lot of that is because we cook our when we do that, a lot of our meals are prepared ahead of time. So all we do is, we're tired from driving, so we leave the camper connected to the truck. We pull out the minimum of minimum, and then we just dump the stuff inside of a pot and then go. And the other thing comes to this with these 1-pound bottles is the storage of them. I'm not endorsed by this guy. I just love his product, and Sally and I have been using this product for a little over 3 years. It's the Overland Gear Guy. Him and his wife hand make these, and a lot of his stuff is double lined, so they have a liner in the inside. The zippers that he uses are high quality zippers, and they're usually double the zipper, so you don't have to start from one end and work your way around. And he also makes labels. They sew the Velcro on there so you can label what is in these bags and pouches. We have a lot of our gear is stored in his stuff. We just like it. We love it. Check him out on Facebook. Check him out online. You can't go wrong. His stuff is high quality. Sally, after we have our meal, she loves this.
Yeah.
And that's her
collapsible
water dish bowl.
Looks great.
You know, she heats up her water on the stove and dumps it in there, puts her soap in there, washes it, cleans it, and then rinses them all off. And the storage is phenomenal. We all have these. The one thing that we cook off of a lot, and whether it's breakfast for pancakes, whether it is breakfast tacos, and I love her tacos, and or street tacos, Mexican street tacos, is a griddle plate that fits on our stove. This is carbon steel, and we've been using this for quite some time, and it's well seasoned. Cleans up like a dream. It puts a great scalding or sear on chicken steaks, pork steaks. It hash browns, you name it. It just works good. And the nice thing about what we love about this thing is that it only requires medium heat, and you still get a good scalding on your meat. And that's the thing I like about this. If you run them any higher than on a medium heat, you risk the chance of warping them. And we love this. We use this thing. We also, which works great, is corn tortillas.
Amen.
Or even the flour. When she makes her breakfast burritos, and it
Does the job.
it does it. She rolls them over and puts a little browning on that, and she made the cover so it could protect the cover, the skillet itself. The next thing is I want to get into is for years our main go-to cookware. I'm talking skillets and pots. We used for years. We used was the Pinnacle 10-inch nonstick pan with the folding handle that folded inside, and then the Boogaloo series, which those pots, and they had a little frying pan that all nested together. It only came with one removable handle. Sally ended up ordering 2 more for everything, so everything had its own handle. But over the years, we ended up switching because we cook off of stainless steel anyways at the house. And so we ended up swapping those out, and we ended up going with carbon steel. And this is the OXO 10-inch carbon steel pan. The handle is removable. It cooks exactly like cast iron, but again, over medium heat. So you get that nice scalding or searing on your pork chops, your steaks, your butterfly chicken breasts, or whatever you're doing. And it heats up evenly, which is really nice. I like about that. And she loves about that.
Yes.
And the cleanup is like a dream. We just use a squirt bottle. We put a little bit of water inside there, warm it up, let it sit for a minute, and then take a rag and wipe it all out. And then a light coating of oil over the top of it. Put it back on the stove. Put it, to re-season it. And then take it off, let it cool, and put it away. That's one of the things that we love about this. The one thing that I actually notice online, we have no complaints with this. But online, you have people there complaining about the handle. They say the handle's flimsy or loose. Me and Sally, we think it ain't no issue. Goes on, comes off. If it was any tighter, you would have a trouble trying to get it on. That's the thing. We have no complaints about this.
Works great.
Yep, works great. The next thing I want to talk about is when we switched over from the Boogaloo series of pots, we went with a company called Fire Maple. And we love their pot. We started off with their 1 liter with the handle. The handle folds in itself. It folds into itself and it latches into onto it, so as it stays in state. It heats up nice. It cleans up good. Sally loves it. I mean, she makes her green hatch chili enchilada sauce in these when we go camping. The other thing is that the other one we ended up going with was the 1.8 billy pot. It has no handle, it's a bale. It's a 2-position bale. So it goes in one direction or straight up, locks into that position, but it doesn't go into the other position. The one thing that we like about this 1.8 liter pot, it has a steamer's rack.
Yeah, it's great.
So Sally can do her, steamed vegetables or any type of steaming, corn on the cob, even those Chinese dumplings, which we never have, but we want to try it. But it's a great product. I mean, I just love fire maple stuff. We liked it so much that we ended up ordering their small little lanterns.
And they come in a really nice mesh, little netted
Yeah.
bag to keep everything contained.
Cutting boards. Getting to this is the rigid system. The 2.0 generation. For years we used plain old tub like this. And I used to watch her fumble through those things and take things out to grab something and put it back in. And then after your trip, trying to remember how you put everything in there so everything all fits. We've gone through this motion like everybody else does. We don't use that much, so let's get rid of this. But then all of a sudden, something new comes along, you try it, and you're just replacing that void that you just took out. And you're back to trying to fit everything in there like a puzzle, And so I used to watch her, and it just bothered me. So I finally done some research, and I talked to her. I said, wouldn't you like to have something that's more manageable, more easier on you? And that's what so we ended up going with this. And why we went with this system here locks together. There's 2 locking latches on each side. Keeps it from sliding, so she can use this system in conjunction with these fridge stands, these Ironman fridge stands, as another counter or workplace to do, whether she's cutting up vegetables or whatever it is, or cilantro or whatever it is. The one thing I like, what I see that she has is the versatility to everything on this thing. We keep our coffee pot, our percolator in here. Yeah, we like perk coffee. We even have a percolator at the house. She keeps the pans, her OXO pan in here, both fire maple pans. I love it when she makes her cinnamon rolls. A lot of the cookware, that she puts in there. This is extra miscellaneous utensils. It all comes out and goes together very well. And I don't see her struggling with it. Like I said, it locks all together. So which is nice is that when she went in to get silverware and it locks in the front, she has her silverware on all her utensils, cooking utensils. Her little Japanese knife, cutting knife, forks, knives, spoons, steak knives, Arkansas stone for sharpening knives.
There's little dividers in that top drawer.
Yeah, all divided in sections. Her whisks. We use a lot of wooden utensils because we don't want to harm the season finish on the carbon steel stuff. The second drawer is where she has her mixing pot, collapsible. Most of us all have those.
And I found that almost everything we make or mix together for that bowl is the perfect size.
Yep. Exactly. Her colander.
Yep.
When she makes macaroni salad or
Spaghetti
or whatever. Scraper. The scraper and the squeeze bottle that's in this one filled with water. This is how we clean the griddle plate. Get the leavings off of it. And then we wipe it down. And one of our favorite meals that we like is pizza. Yep, we actually make pizza out there on our travels. Sally makes, I believe, 5 different types of pizzas.
Uh-huh.
She makes the standard combination. Meat lovers, pizza with pepperoni and Italian sausage and all the other stuff that's on it. And she makes a Hawaiian one with Canadian bacon and Italian sausage and other ingredients in it, pineapple. And then she makes a New Mexico style with green hatch chili sauce and chicken. And then she makes also the chicken, the white sauce, the Alfredo sauce, and spinach and bacon and all the other stuff that she puts on it. But she'll explain. She doesn't make pizza dough out there.
No. I get the pita bread, the 7-inch Greek pita bread, and it makes such a nice crust because you only cook it for about 12 minutes in the oven, and it's crispy and brown around the edge, and it's not floppy.
It tastes like pizza out of a pizzeria.
Yeah, exactly. You have a nice firm crust.
She bakes it at 425 degrees for 12 minutes, and then she sets it on the cutting board and lets it cool for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then we slice it in 4 sections, in fourths, and which will come back to this soon about the oven. But anyways, the bottom drawer holds collapsible cutting board. She loves her bamboo cutting boards.
Yes.
Her Reynolds wrap, or
aluminum foil.
We use paper plates and paper bowls, Dixie. They're heavy duty ones that are, and those are in there along with her extra Ziploc bags and
plastic forks
and stuff like that. If we are really on doing a BDR, otherwise if we're base camping, we eat off of normal silverware. Which leads us into the water situation. And the water is out of 5. We have 2 5-gallon or 20, known as 20-liter Scepters. They're on the front of the camper, and the mounts on the camper that hold these in place are AT Overland water, Scepter can mounts. Mario makes a fantastic product. I got a lot of his product on that camper. But anyways, everything is gravity fed. We like it that way because there's no problems. If we want to sit there and just get a little bit, you just squeeze the handle one direction, flows. If you want to fill up a pot for boiling spaghetti or whatever it is, or pasta noodles or whatever, you flip it the other way and you get that continuous flow. All you do is crack a little bit of the valve there to open up, let some air in there, and it works great. Mm-hmm. In the winter months, and when the weather is starting to have icy, it gets cool down into the below freezing temperatures, Sally made thermal blankets for them. So if we're traveling, if we left them exposed, the water would freeze in spots in these containers. But when we wrap these in and then snug them down, it's an insulator. So it's hard for that cold air to hit that. And they fit perfect on, inside Mario's Scepter can holders. If we're camping, then we just slide them on and then strap them down, snug them down. And then they are, insulated. Tables. We all know that what these are all about, the folding over. We have 3 of these. We love these things. We find ourselves at times even dining on them. They work great. They don't take up a lot of space. They fold up real flat. Like I said, we have 3 of them. The other is the Camp Chef table that Sally sets up on. This is the Camp Chef Mountaineer Mesa series. Both these tables are almost 12 years old.
Yeah.
And they've served us well. They've been on many, 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 many adventures. And they never failed us. I like them because it's a nice solid surface. The legs are adjustable at any height. And we still got 1 click to go up even higher. When you put them into the bags, they fold about 8" by 8" by about 42 inches long. And they don't take up much room. We store them in the back of the truck. We got 2 of them. They're up on the rack over here, out of the way. We just love them. The situation is that when we get into meals and cooking on meals is the stove. That stove is 10.5 years old. It's a Camp Chef Everest. We love it. It's never failed us. The igniter is just phenomenal. It never stops working. What Sally likes about this stove is that it simmers. It goes all the way down to a real, real faint simmer, and then up to a scorching hot heat for boiling water. Overall BTUs on this stove is 40,000. Each burner is 20,000 BTUs, so it can boil water fast. It's great because when you turn it down and go to a simmer, or you could be able to regulate it, this is where this shines. And that is our foldable Modern Innovations oven. And we've tried 2 other ones, and this is the one, this is our go-to. Yeah. We love it. But we know that these ovens, thermometers, they're usually right around 75 to 100 degrees off. So I had to come up with a situation for Sally, how to get and keep the heat accurately when she is baking, whether she's making cinnamon rolls or baking baked potatoes or meatloaf or whatever it is, that she gets that nice accurate heat inside there, that temperature. And so TrueTel, we use a TrueTel thermometer. There's a slot cut in through the top, fits right on top. All she does is just adjust the burner to the temperature, and it's perfect. What's also interesting in the winter months, because we like to eat a lot of comfort food in the winter months when we're camping, is I made a blanket out of a soldering blanket. And the thermometer still fits down inside. This helps insulate this outside. It's off the burner so it doesn't burn. It just covers the top and both sides. But what it does is it helps put a thermal barrier in there and helps keep more of that heat in there so she's not constantly fiddling with this. Which leads me to the fridge. When we first started overlanding almost 12 years ago, we used a K2 75 quart cooler and had a divider in there, and it worked fine. But after a while, you have all that water, If you got chicken in there, you know what chicken and water is. And so we end up doing a lot of research. At the time, I belonged to a forum called American Adventurists. No longer up anymore. But there's a lot of guys that were doing this for a long time, and there's a lot of guys that used to ship their rigs overseas and overland overseas, and a lot of guys that used to overland down through the South Americas all the way down into Peru and all that area. And I was talking to them about fridges. I was interested in a fridge. And one of them sat there and said, buy a good one, because if anything that you buy, anything that you invest in, it should be a good fridge. You don't want nothing to break down while you're on your adventure. So I looked at, and there was 3 I settled on: National Luna, ARB, and Engel. Some of them also had Dometic, and I had no problem with them. But I looked at those 3 mainly. I ended up settling with Engel. And this fridge is over 10 years old. Over 10 years. Going on this December. Next month, we'll make it 11 years. 11 years old. And the reason why I went with Engel was Engel's been building portable fridges for over 55 years. They're out of Australia. These guys know their business. A lot of overlanding came from Australia. And the nice thing about Engel is it has real low draw. Why does it have low draw? Low draw to it? Because the compressor only has one moving part. So it doesn't take much amperage to move that one moving part. In the winter months, this fridge won't even reach an amp an hour. In normal, fair weather camping, I can get anywhere between 1.7 amps, 1.8 amps per hour. And in hot summer times, it's 2.7, 2.8, not quite 3 amps an hour. It's just a fantastic fridge. It even still has the original analog knob. It's not digital. It's 40 quart, easy to clean. Like I said, we keep this fridge running at 39 to 40 degrees, the same temperature as our household fridge. The nice thing about Engel also I like about it is that when it sits and it goes in the back of the truck, as you're going up steep inclines, it won't shut down. It still keeps on running. But that's one of the reasons why I ended up, one of the many reasons I should say, why I ended up with Engel. It's my first fridge, and it'll probably be my last fridge I ever buy. Sits in the back of the truck. When we're on our way to our destination, and if we're running BDRs, all I do is the cord, the 12-volt cord is very long on this. All I do is I disconnect it from the outlet from the back of the bed of the truck, and I plug it into the camper while the camper is still connected to the truck with the lock and roll hitch. But if we're base camping, I just swing it over and leave it and drag it out onto the tailgate. And that's where my wife just walks over and opens it and lowers it and all that stuff and gets her food out of it, what she needs.
Works great.
It's just been a fantastic and reliable fridge. Which leads me to the fridge stands. We like to drag our gear out and set it around where she can have access to it. Like I said, the fridge stays on the back of the tailgate of the truck. So the things that are out and about are dry good box, your kitchen setup, and water. In summertime, or in warm weather camping, or fair weather camper, we like to call it camping, I'll drag out another fridge stand, which I have 4, and we'll bring a Canyon 22 quart That's what keeps all our drinks, our teas, our juices. We like to keep water in a big jug in there, so it's constantly cold. And it holds ice for a couple of 3 days, and then you have to replace it. But otherwise, pretty much this is what you see, except for the fridge being on the tailgate of the truck. Which leads me to when we run BDRs, half of this gear is out. Only half of it's out. And the reason for that is that, like I said, you're behind the steering wheel, behind that windshield time, and you're exhausted because you're constantly checking out the route, whether it's on your Gaia, on your Gaia, on your phone, on your Gaia app. We also bring paper maps and gazettes, gazetters to go through to evaluate our routes and everything, make sure. And it also helps us try to find if I'm running a Trans-America Trail route, then I have Sam Carrero, who was the originator from the Trans-America Trail, who discovered plotted all the routes out on Gaia. But I also use GPS Kevin, which is exactly the same route, but he has secondary routes going off of those. And I'll run that on a Garmin, 5-inch Garmin GPS, which is the Nuvi 5L, with a small micro SD card of that route, of those routes in there. And if I need a detour, I just refer over onto that. And most of the times I can get a detour because there's secondary routes and a third route that usually goes through on areas. And but anyways, getting back to the running the trails for BDR, and half the equipment only out, our gear out, makes it easy because you're tired. All you do is you pop the fridge open, your meals are already pre-prepared, and we put them inside vacuum sealed bags, but we don't vacuum seal them, we just seal them up. We cut the corners off of them, we dump them in one of the pots and throw them on the stove and heat them up. And then usually we sit around for a little bit, and then we're in bed and back up in the morning having coffee, and then stopping somewhere to get gas to top off the tank. And then by that time you pick up your biscuit and refill your coffee cup, and you're back on the route again. But if we're base camping and we want to stay there for multiple days, whether it's 24-hour days or multiple days, that's a different story. All this stuff comes out. And when we do that, that's when the eating comes to play, eating good. And believe me, we like to eat. You can tell. I'm never late for table time. So anyways, we eat good. Sally will make her casseroles, or we have burgers, or whether we have tacos or comfort food, or some good old Texas brisket chili with some cornbread on the side. Mop up that leftover sauce. But otherwise, that's how we do and what we enjoy doing when we're out there dispersed camping and running routes in the off-road and overlanding. It's a little bit more that you people can get to know about us, about Sally and I. And that's what this is about. It's getting to know us, why we love overlanding and dispersed camping and all that. We've been doing this for quite a long time. We're new to YouTube. Yeah. But we have been doing this for quite a long time. And again, we apologize for taking down the last video. But we hope you enjoyed the video. And I hope you stick around for the little devotion afterwards. A little word of encouragement. Yeah. Anyways, we'll catch y'all later on the next video.
See you later.
This devotion's coming out of the Old Testament. I'm going to be reading from the English Standard Translation out of the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verses 1 and 2. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Verse 2, a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up what is planted. The fall season only shines God's handiwork. The days grow shorter, the air turns cooler, the leaves transformed into a radiant shades of red, orange, gold, and browns. God has gifted us the trees to remind us to stand tall, to reach for Him, to be vigilant by being mindful of what is right in front of us. As fall season prepares the trees for new growth, God uses seasons to prepare us for change. At times, life doesn't always make sense. God brings us into new seasons for change. Change is part of life and His plan. God controls the timing of our change. God's plans always has divine purpose. His sovereignty brings stillness, a peacefulness that acknowledges these times of change are opportunities for us, maturing, for learning, and a dependence on His grace. We're never alone during these times. God is always with us, guiding us through these transitions and transformations, while encouraging us to embrace change with faith, trusting in His plan He has lined out for us. By trusting in Him, we are being strengthened, we are gaining spiritual discipline, and a renewal of a deeper spiritual connection with Him. Our job is to trust God through our journey, allowing Him to do the creative work in and through us as we walk by faith, not by sight. I hope you were encouraged by this short devotional. And I want to thank you again for watching the video, giving us the support. Please give us likes, shares. Please comment. We'd like to hear from you. And subscribe, and don't click on that bell for future notifications. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope that someone got something out of this devotion. God bless.